Hello everyone, my name is Tin and welcome to my channel. Today's video is not going to be about Philippine true crime, although true crime yung pag-uusapan natin. Instead, we're going to talk about the genocide in Palestine at kung bakit tayo affected dito. I mean because number one, aware tayo sa nangyayari para manahimik. And number two, you don't have to be a Palestinian to tell their story and amplify their voices. And disclaimer lang, Miss Ma'am, yung pag-call out sa ginagawa ng Israel sa Palestine na ethnic cleansing is not anti-Semitism in any way, shape, or form. Kasi we don't tolerate prejudice against Jewish people in this household. Okay? Malinaw? Okay. In this video, pag-uusapan natin yung Zionism, migration ng Jews sa Palestine, the creation of Israel, the Gurion Canal project, and of course, each of these points ay may mga branches pa, so make sure to pay attention and listen carefully, honey. And by the way, all of the information I'm going to discuss are the ones available to me during my research, so if I missed anything, feel free to comment below. And as always, all of my sources are in the description box. Remember that not all Jews are pro-Zionist and not all pro-Zionists are Jews. Linawin lang natin sa umpisa pa lang para hindi kayo malito. I guess hindi naman na bago sa atin na throughout history, laging pinapersecute at ino-oppress yung mga Jews dahil sa prejudice at stereotype ng other culture and other religion towards them. Hence, the creation of Zionism from the word Zion, which is a Hebrew term that refers to Jerusalem. Ang goal nitong nationalist movement ay bumalik sa kanilang ancient homeland at magtayo ng National Jewish State. Based ito sa Hebrew Bible at para matigil na rin yung patuloy na anti-Semitism. Balikan natin later yung return to their homeland dahil may argument na ginagamit yung mga pro-Zionist na they occupied the land of Israel before Islam even existed, yada yada. So, hopefully, maalala ko. Anyway, going back to Zionism, yung fundamental philosophies ng movement have existed for hundreds of years until yung mga Jews around the world faced persecution by the late 19th century. Kaya the modern Zionism emerged under the leadership of Theodor Herzl, aka the modern founding father of Zionism. And eventually, yung movement was formalized as a political organization in 1897. Si Theodor Herzl was a Austro-Hungarian Jewish journalist and political activist born in May 2, 1860. And ayon kay Herzl, nakadepende yung survival ng Jewish community pag nagkaroon sila ng nation of their own. In 1896, he wrote Der Judenstaat or The Jewish State, isang pamphlet na nagsisik for a political recognition of a Jewish homeland in the land known as Palestine. In this manifesto, he outlined his goals for a secular Jewish state kung saan yung mga Jews did not have to assimilate to any other culture dahil nga sa hate na natatamo nila. And as a European, yung pag-establish niya ng Jewish state was of course Eurocentric. Settlement of white Jews ang importante, meaning yung mga Ashkenazi, hindi included yung mga Sephardic and Mizrahi Jews. Balikan ko din yung Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and Mizrahi Jews later. Anyway, Herzl organized the first Zionist Congress na naganap sa Basel, Switzerland. He also formed and became the first president of the World Zionist Organization. He bid for international support from the major powers for their goals, but he failed. Pagkatapos, Zionist movement met yearly until 1901 and then every 2 years. Yung headquarters ng movement was established in Vienna kung saan si Herzl as a journalist published the official weekly Die Welt or The World. Nung ni-refuse ng Ottoman government yung request ni Herzl for a Palestine autonomy, nakatanggap naman siya ng support from Great Britain. In 1903, inoffer ng British government yung 15,500 square kilometers of uninhabited Uganda for settlement. Another option is Argentina, pero fixed na yung mga Zionists sa Palestine dahil yung link nga nila sa lugar as their ancient homeland. Around the same time, the first Aliyah was occurring from 1882 to 1903, kung saan yung large wave of Jewish immigrants from Romania and Russia moved to Jerusalem, which is located sa bansang, you guessed it, Palestine. Before they even get there, may mga nakatira na doon. Prior to this migration, may mga Jews na nakatira sa Palestine at nagko-coexist sila peacefully with their Arab and Palestinian neighbors. Wait! Nalilito ako dahil may mga Jews naman pala sa Palestine. Bakit sila tinatawag na Israeli settlers, kumbrahus? Baby girl, eto na nga, listen carefully dahil although the Jewish diaspora scattered around the globe, we can identify them from their socio-political origin. Remember yung 3 groups na binanggit ko kanina? Yes? Di ka nakikinig. So first, yung Ashkenazi refers to Jews from Northern and Eastern Europe. Mga German, Polish, Austrian, Hungarian, Lithuanian, and Belgian. Sometimes, but doesn't always include Russian Jews. They spoke Hebrew and Yiddish. And yung mga Ashkenazi Jews are the ones who's in the middle of the storm during the Holocaust. Yung mga Sephardic and Mizrahi Jews are also persecuted, pero yung mga Ashkenazi Jews kasi yung nandun sa lugar kung saan nangyayari talaga yung Holocaust. Next is Sephardic Jews. They are from the Iberian Peninsula, so located sila sa Spain and Portugal. Minsan, the term Sephardic refers to North African dahil yung culture nila ay kalat doon sa area. They speak Portuguese and Spanish, and they also speak Judeo-Spanish, also called Ladino. And lastly, we have Mizrahi Jews. They are from Middle East, Central Asia, and North Africa. So mga galing Levant, Syria, Turkey, Egypt, Iraq, Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, Algeria, Iran, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Palestine. They speak Arabic, Persian, Marathi, Tajik, and more. It's important to note that yung Mizrahi Jews was a socio-political term that was coined with the creation of Israel. Yes, yung mga Israeli settlers from Europe, which is the Ashkenazi Jews, pushed this narrative to legitimize their ancestral ties to the land of Palestine. Dahil aside sa makabalik sila sa kanilang ancient homeland, dahil na nga sa prejudice towards them around the world, their settler and colonial policy ay i-prioritize yung immigration and settlement of Ashkenazi Jews, not Sephardic Jews and not Mizrahi Jews. Sabi nga ni Kwame Ture, isang African-American political activist, Zionism is a satanic movement. It's imperialism, it's racist. Dahil yung mga Ethiopian and Black African Jews ay excluded from immigration to Israel. Although may small population ng mga Ethiopian and Black African Jews na nakapag-immigrate doon sa Israel, may mga harmful eugenicist policies naman sa Israel, katulad ng non-consensual sterilization of Ethiopian Jew na nag-immigrate doon. Katulad noong 2013, inadmit ng Israeli Ministry of Health to non-consensually sterilizing Ethiopian Jewish women. Ang nakakalungkot pa, nasa approximately 700,000 Palestinians and Mizrahi Jews were expelled from their country of origin, and meron pang several incidents kung saan yung mga Zionist agents committed sabotage para mapabilis yung pagpapalayas sa mga Palestinian and Mizrahi Jews sa Israel. Nangyari lahat ito in the years after 1948. Yes, Kurikasis kung nahulaan mo. Dahil that year was the declaration of the State of Israel. And actually, no one really identified as Mizrahi Jews until 1948. So clearly, yung establishment of Mizrahi identity was politically instrumental to legitimize the creation of the State of Israel. So now, balikan natin yung argument ng mga pro-Zionists na sila yung nauna sa land, keme-keme. Well, first of all, Zionism is not Judaism. Judaism is monotheistic religion, samantala yung Zionism naman is a political project. They are completely and utterly secular. And to answer the argument na yung mga Zionist Jews or mga Ashkenazi Jews occupied the land before Islamic religion even existed. Ayon sa biblical context, whether you are Jewish, Muslim, or Christian, matatrace mo yung beginnings ng iyong religion back to Abraham. Though hindi specified sa Bible, Quran, or Torah yung exact geographical origin niya, Abraham was traditionally associated with the city of Ur, southern province of Dikar in Mesopotamia, which is the modern-day Iraq. So we can technically say that he was an Arab. Nagkaroon siya ng anak named Isaac, who then had a son named Jacob. And Jacob is who the 12 tribes of Israel are descended from. Basically, you cannot claim that the Jews were into Palestine before the Arabs, when literally the Holy Book tells you that you are descended from an Iraqi Arab man. Anyway, bumalik tayo sa reality. Early 1900s, okay? In 1904, Herzl died prior to the establishment of the State of Israel. Namatay man siya, pero yung vision niya was carried out by later Zionist leaders. The next year, 1905, with the failure of Russian Revolution, at saka yung patuloy na pogroms and repression sa mga Jews led to the second Aliyah. Ito yung migration ng 35,000 Jews sa Palestine from Russia and Poland. And with the outbreak of World War I and the defeat of the Ottoman Empire, itong dalawang Russian Zionist Jew na nakatira sa England na si Chaim Weizmann and Nahum Sokolov ay naging instrumental in obtaining the Balfour Declaration. So, ang nangyari mga sis, noong 1917, si Arthur James Balfour wrote a letter to Baron Rothschild, isang wealthy and prominent leader in the British Jewish community. Sa letter, nakasaad doon yung support ng British government for the establishment in Palestine of a national home for Jewish people. That letter was known as the Balfour Declaration na napublish sa press a week later. Nakasaad doon sa content ng Balfour Declaration yung mandate for Palestine. Itong mandate na ito give the Great Britain the responsibility na tulungan i-establish yung Jewish national homeland sa Palestine under their control. The following years, yung mga Zionists built up the Jewish urban and rural settlements in Palestine, solidifying their culture sa land. It was estimated noong March 1925, yung official population ng Jews sa Palestine ay nasa 108,000 at tumaas pa ng 238,000 by 1933. Come World War II, the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Germany pushed many Ashkenazi Jews to immigrate to Palestine. Many Arabs saw the influx of Jews as a European colonial movement, kaya nagkaroon ng Arab Revolt from 1936 to 1939. Yung Britain tried to suppress the uprising that led for them to reassess their policies in the hopes of keeping the peace between the Jews and the Palestinian Arabs. Nag-issue ng white paper yung Great Britain restricting Jewish immigration to Palestine and limiting their purchase of land. This policy did not really slow Jewish immigration because it opened the door to illegal immigration. Still, patuloy pa rin yung Jewish-Arab conflict at yung ibang Jewish extremists committed a terrorism. Katulad na lang ng mga grupong Stern Gang and Irgun Zweilyumi, not sure if I pronounce it right, against the British personnel. And because of this, Britain announced that it sought to end its mandate of the area. Kaya they turned over the problem to the newly formed UN or United Nations noong November 1947. And sa kanilang General Assembly, they voted to divide British-ruled Palestine into two states, Jewish and Arab. And with this, yung mga Palestinians saw it as an extension of a long-running Jewish attempt to push them out of the land. Kaya yung mga Arab states of Egypt, Jordan, Iran, and Syria declared war on Israel. However, the Zionist militias gained upper hand over the Palestinians and other Arab states dahil na rin sa aid na natatanggap ng Israel from their allies. In May 14, 1948, Israel declared their independence na agad namang ni-recognize ng America, Soviet Union, and other government. The state of Israel prevailed, pero yung effect nito sa mga indigenous sa land ay catastrophe or Nakba in Arabic. Maraming Palestinians ang forcibly displaced, stripped of their homes and lands. Basically, ethnic cleansing sa land of Palestine. At dito nag-start yung ilang taon, 75 years to be exact, na genocide na ginagawa ng Israel sa mga Palestinians. From being native to the land, today, the Palestinians are suffering sa kakarampot na territory like the Gaza Strip and West Bank. On top of that, they have to endure every day yung mga checkpoints ng mga Israeli forces. This is in the West Bank, and sobrang hirap pumasok at lumabas dito, and they have to have permits from the Israelis. Nagtayo pa ng wall yung Israel sa Gaza and West Bank, really confining the Palestinians in a certain space. Gaza was tagged as largest open-air prison in the world because they have been trapped and deprived of their freedom by the colonial settlers, Israel. You see, sobrang importante para sa mga Palestinians yung land nila because they made their living through agriculture before the state of Israel. At yung major crop ng Palestine ay olives. Mayroong significant ties yung mga Palestinians sa olive tree because aside sa symbol ito ng resiliency, olive trees can live for hundreds of years. Proof din ito kung gaano nakatagal yung connection nila sa land. Pero yung mga Israeli who claims na sila yung nauna, legitimate at indigenous sa land, regularly bulldozes cut down and burn olive trees to try to break the Palestinian spirit. Naging second-class group of citizen yung mga Palestinians sa sarili nilang bansa, denied legal nationality and basic human rights. Many of them were killed by Israel security forces through booby traps, mines, at kahit lumapit ka lang sa ginawang border ng Israel, pabarilin ka nila regardless matanda or bata. And I'm going to give you some atrocities na ginawa ng Israel sa mga Palestinians. April 18, 1996, binomba ng Israel yung refugee camp sa South Lebanese village sa Canal, killing over 100 civilians and half of them are children. Noong 2014, Israeli army kills a Palestinian teen near West Bank checkpoint dahil sa alleged na pagbato nito ng bato. In 2018, IDF killed a medic at sabi pa ng Israel, she was a human shield. 2021, pinasabog ng Israel yung media office. 2022, yung journalist na si Shireen Abu Akleh was shot in the head by Israeli forces. This has been going on since the establishment of Israel back in 1948. Sobrang haba ng list of crimes ng Israel towards the Palestinian people. And surprisingly and diabolically, maraming tao, especially the Zionists, disregard all of these, playing the victim and acted as if it all started just recently, no October 7. October 7, kung saan yung Western media, ang script was...
And do you condemn Hamas?
Do you condemn what Hamas did that day?
And you won't condemn Hamas.
Unfortunately, some members of the media
Some members of the media
Some members of the media use their platforms
to push their own personal bias.
to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Not that I support Hamas. Of course, they should pay for their atrocities too. However, we should all know who created this militant group. Sabi ni Ron Paul, dating congressman ng US, Hamas is encouraged and really started by Israel. Dahil gusto nilang i-counteract ng Hamas si Yasser Arafat, dating president ng Palestinian Authority. Arafat told an Italian newspaper, and I quote, "Hamas is a creature of Israel." He also claimed yung former prime minister ng Israel na si Yitzhak Rabin admitted to him calling it a fatal error. Another source na magpapatotoo dito ay yung mga top Israelis and US officials like Brigadier General Yitzhak Segev, dating Israeli military governor in Gaza, told the New York Times that he helped finance the Islamic movement. Ang sabi niya, the Israeli government gave me a budget and the military government gives to the mosque. Si Colonel David Hakam, who worked in Gaza by the late 1980s as an Arab affair expert in the Israeli military, admitted that the original sin was the Israeli support for Ahmed Yassin, who founded Hamas in the late 1970s. Former Middle East expert at the US State Department na si David Long told journalists, and I quote, "I thought Israelis were playing with fire. I didn't realize they end up creating a monster." And guess who else supporting and funding Hamas? Bibi Netanyahu himself. Sabi ng foreign minister niya na si Avigdor Lieberman in 2020 that Bibi dispatched Mossad chief na si Yossi Cohen and IDF officer Herzi Halevi to Doha to beg the Qataris to continue sending money to Hamas. In 2019, Netanyahu said, and I quote, "Whoever is against the establishment of Palestinian state has to support bolstering to Hamas and transferring money to Hamas. This is part of our strategy to isolate the Palestinians in Gaza from the Palestinians in the West Bank." End quote. Pero many people said it was done on purpose para they can justify their actions toward Gaza because they have a bigger project they want to accomplish. Which brings us to Gurion Canal project at kung bakit pro-Zionist itong mga colonizers na bansa like UK, France, and America. And of course, it has something to do with money. Ano ka ba? Anyway, si David Ben-Gurion was the founding father of Israel and the first prime minister as well. Ayan siya during the declaration of the State of Israel at malaking picture ni Theodor Herzl. Anyway, itong project na ito has been brewing since the 60s. July 1963 to be exact. Yung US Department of Energy and yung Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory created a classified document that outlined a plan to excavate the Hills and Negev Desert using 520 nuclear bombs. You may ask, baby girl, may kanal na nag-exist, yung Suez Canal. Ding ding ding! Very bright. Correct ka dyan, diva. However, since colonialism and capitalism go hand in hand, katulad ng mga binanggit kong bansa kanina, hindi sila papayag na malamangan ng iba. Dahil magkano ang kinikita ng Suez Canal annually? Balikan natin yan later, pero pasadahan natin ng bahagya yung history ng Suez Canal. Since the ancient times, meron ng interest na pagdugtungin yung Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. Then, by 1850s, nakita ni Khedive or Khedive Said Pasha, who oversaw Egypt and Sudan for the Ottomans, yung opportunity for Egypt. Kaya he granted Ferdinand de Lesseps, a French diplomat, a permission to construct a canal. The company eventually became known as the Suez Canal Company, and yung binigay na concession ni Pasha kay Lesseps was the Suez Canal would be open for European investors for 99-year lease. And in that period, Egyptian regime would be getting 15% of the profit. And then, who bought the Suez Canal? Of course, the British and French. The British Empire would go on and purchase the Egypt's share of the Suez Canal for 44%. And the majority of the share ay binili ng mga French. Yung excavation took 10 years and an estimated 1.5 million people worked on the project. Karamihan dito ay slave laborers, and it was believed that tens of thousands died while working on Suez Canal from cholera and other causes. Yung Suez Canal opened on November 17, 1869, and since then, yung mga ships from Asia had a faster travel to Europe. This canal sees the passage of 12 to 15% of the world trade and 10% of the global oil distribution. In 1888, nagkaroon ng Convention of Constantinople at nakasaad dito na lahat ng bansa should be able to use this canal in times of peace and war. Noong 1936, nagkaroon din ng Anglo-Egyptian Treaty sa London that officially ends the 54 years occupation of the British in Egypt. And then, in 1949, Egypt denied Israel access to Suez Canal. Ito ay dahil sa apartheid na ginawa nila sa Palestinian people. In 1956, after years of negotiation, the British withdrew their troops sa Suez Canal, effectively handling the control over Egypt under the leadership of President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Nasser quickly nationalized the Suez Canal, transferring ownership to the Suez Canal Authority, isang quasi-government agency. Of course, this move angered UK, France, and America. Nagalit palalo yung ibang European powers nung pinasara ni Nasser yung Straits of Tiran, a body of water linking Israel to the Red Sea. And then, the Western bullies threatened to invade Egypt, leading to the so-called Suez Crisis. It was also became the battleground in 1967 Arab-Israeli War. Eventually, Egypt and Israel signed a peace treaty of 1979. Today, an average of 50 ships navigate Suez Canal daily, carrying more than 300 million tons of goods per year. Sino nagbe-benefit dito? Egypt, of course, deserve at magkano yung kanilang annual revenue. Just this year, they made $9.4 billion. O, diba? Bongga. And because of this, nagdadabog yung mga sugapang countries. I'm talking to you, US, UK, France, at kung sino pa yung mga pro-Israeli dyan. In 2014, nagkaroon ng 8 billion expansion project yung Egyptian government to widen the Suez Canal from 61 meters to 312 meters. And it only took 1 year to complete the project. Pero despite the widened route, for sure, nabalitaan mo rin itong nangyari ng 2021, kung saan yung isa sa pinakamalaking ship blocked the canal, leading to approximately $900 million of losses. The US was not happy about this dahil ang sabi ng Pentagon, naging difficult yung pag-move nila ng mga military vessels. Dahil nga naman, paano na yung business nila na gera? At dito na papasok yung Ben Gurion Canal dahil in this project, they're planning to dig 50 meters 10 meters deeper than Suez Canal and 200 meters wide na kaya mag-accommodate ng malalaking ship. And competing with Suez Canal, Israel estimate an annual revenue of $6 billion. In this project, they would connect the Gulf of Aqaba to the Mediterranean Sea. However, if you look closely, may nakaharang. Nakaharang sa daan ng kanilang proyekto, yung Gaza Strip, that would earn them billions of dollars. Kinakailangan pa nila mag-swerve, which is very inconvenient sa part nila. Unless they built it through Gaza. Hence, after October 7, non-stop na yung pagbomba ng Israel sa Gaza Strip, exhausting and murdering civilian Palestinian people para lang makuha yung land. Also, they have to finish the project quick because Miss China over here aims to build a project called One Road, One Belt. It's a train line that starts from the province of China, across Asia, Europe, Africa, and Oceania. Sobrang ambitious ng project na to and perhaps the world's largest economic project, which seeks to recreate the Silk Road land trade route. So obviously, these powerful countries are competing in an economic war, aiming to control seaports and global trade routes. Capitalism really is killing us. Wow. Going back sa ginagawang genocide ng Israel sa Palestine, this is their main goal. Kaya they're bombing the land, murdering civilian Palestinians living there just to carry out their plan. And with the help of America, UK, and France, at the cost of million lives. And it's so easy for them to annihilate an entire generation because after 9/11, all of Muslims are deemed subhumans, terrorists, and savages. This is the propaganda America spread around the world. Just like how they demonize Native Americans, African Americans, and other people of color. As of November 10, 2023, the same time I am researching this, ayon sa Palestinian Ministry of Health and Palestine Red Crescent Society, Palestinian death toll reaches 11,078 and counting. 2,700 plus missing under the rubble, 4,506 plus children killed, 6,572 plus men and women killed, 198 medical staff killed, 39 journalists killed. 21 out of 35 hospitals are out of service because of the continuous bombing. And as we speak, merong scarcity of food and water sa Gaza because Israel cuts off the water there. Some of the humanitarian aid are blocked going to Gaza dahil sabi ni Netanyahu, he will not allow supplies until Hamas releases hostages. Yet, Israeli forces keeps on carpet bombing Gaza and using white phosphorus on Lebanon and Gaza. Which is, by the way, very unlawful, sabi ng Human Rights Watch, dahil it's a weapon considered illegal under international law. White phosphorus is a wax-like toxic substance that burns more than 800 degrees Celsius, high enough to melt a metal. At kapag ginamit ito sa tao, it can burn the skin down to the bone. Also, yung chemicals nito can be absorbed by the body, causing dysfunction in multiple organs, including the liver, kidneys, and heart. Kung dati, Israel and the West can manipulate, lie, and gaslight the people about the real situation, now, thanks to these angels, we are witnessing the Palestinians' point of view, spreading the truth, like Bizan, Motas, Bestia, and more. Before nila gamitin yung mga platform nila sa katotohanan na nangyayari sa Palestine, si Motas, 24 years old, ang ginagawa niya dati, nagtatrabaho siya sa United Nations Relief and Works Agency as a photographer. Si Bisan, 25, is an EU Goodwill Ambassador and creator of Hakava, named after a ancient Arab tradition of oral storytelling. Plestia, 22, works as a trainer at the English Media Club and news editor at the Press House. They are showing how powerful social media is and can be used to expose who the real terrorist is. That's why it's important to use your voice, your platform, kasi nga yung iba walang privilege to do so. Now, we all know that this is not forever because alam naman natin na meron at merong ma-exhaust dito. And it's not the Palestinian people and the millions of people around the world rallying behind them. At this point, Israel at yung mga countries na sumusuporta dito at nagpa-fund dito already lost the war. Dahil makikita mo yung difference, and Israeli forces uses advanced weapons, samantala yung mga Palestinian civilians uses stones to resist this apartheid. You are in the wrong side of history kapag sinusuportahan mo yung oppressor. Since alam naman natin na hindi ito mag-last forever, I think what should happen next is reparation, full right of return to their ancestral land, give all Palestinians full citizenship, voting rights, and restore their freedom across the entire country. Treaty with Israel to keep them safe from violence and hatred, demand for accountability, and Jewish and Muslim solidarity. Also, ensuring the Palestinian people economic security by the US, UK, and France. Since you started this mess, y'all should fix it. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Yung mga homophobic na gumagamit ng 5-year-old argument. Like, pinapatay ang mga LGBT sa Palestine. Bawal ka nun. Like, girl. First of all, bozo, we're everywhere. May nag-exist na gay Muslim, gay Jew, and gay Christian around the world. So, nakakatawa yung reasoning na ito dahil this is their way to silence and prevent the LGBTQIA+ community to speak out about the war crimes of Israel towards the Palestinian people. Hello? We are not dumb. And lastly, before I leave, I'm going to put in the description box kung saan may list of documentaries and films about Palestine. I think it's a good way para ma-unlearn natin yung colonial mentality, ma-radicalize tayo sa mga nangyayari sa ating paligid. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like this kind of video/content. Dahil currently, Congo and Sudan are also in crisis and we want to shed light and spread more information about sa pinagdadaanan nila. And with that, free Palestine, free Congo, and free Sudan. Bye!